I've got a thing for contrast, especially in art. I love things where up front they feel light and heavenly soft. But if you spend some time with it, you'll see beyond the layers. You're able to read between the lines, find the shadows. When I write of pain, I try to fill it with hope. And if I write a romantic or happy song, there's usually some darkness hiding somewhere in there. I also love abstract. I love where, although the creator may have had a very intentional intention, there's so much room for the viewer or the listener to interpret. Citrus Syrup is about alcoholism. Really, it's about addiction, but it was focused on alcohol being the poison picked. It's meant to sound kind of high, loopy, a little crazy, but happy. But the meaning behind it is sticky. Citrus, syrup, sweet and sour. Picking the lesser of two evils when in a very, very dark place. Drink or die. There were a few summers where I didn't want to be here anymore. When I was very young, I got into a lot of trouble and I experimented with a lot of things. By 16, 17, I recognized that if I continued down that path, it would be the end of me. And I wasn't entirely sure that that's what I wanted for myself. But we'd still drink. We'd always drink. In the studio and with all things art, I found that there were always substances around. They kind of just went hand in hand. And a part of me felt like if I let absolutely everything go, I would not be able to create anymore, or I wouldn't truly be living the life, which is crazy. But at the same time, they did go hand in hand, and they did help kind of loosen up and let things flow. And I was afraid that I would stiffen up without them and I wouldn't be able to create anymore. Plus, they numbed the pain. Drinking numbed the pain. There is and was a lot of pain, trauma, things that needed to actually be dealt with through therapy, antidepressants, yeah. But it took me a long time to get to that stage of healing. And for a long time, I would kind of go up and down on this like roller coaster wave of casually drinking, everything was fine. But then when depression would really hit or the PTSD would get, when I was overwhelmed, I would drown myself. And I've talked to you about how I was always waiting for summer. I loved summer so much. It was like medicine, and how hard winters were. And I would always celebrate surviving the winters, the dark times. And summer would make everything better. But sometimes it didn't. Sometimes nothing would make it better. And that's what Citrus Syrup is about. Every line has a meaning. Citrus syrup, summer rain. I would be walking under blue skies, the sweet air, the flowers, the leaves on the trees. And although I could appreciate how beautiful it all was, I was still in this rainstorm. And then I would add to it by drowning myself. I was the rain. Citrus syrup, sweeter than the pain. Somewhat self-explanatory, but also the sweet, the sour. All over your face, that one was hard to sing and hard to listen to because it stings. I felt like you could see it on my face when I was drowning myself. I was ashamed of myself. I carried immense guilt, and I couldn't look anyone in the eyes because I felt like if I did, they would see right through me. So I would hide away. Um, and when making the video, there's so many shots of me just looking at the camera. And that's because I was, so I don't know, it was like I was looking at me from the past when I looked into my eyes, as the meaning of the song kind of like filled me. And I felt the shame all over again. But there was this duality where I could transcend between the two me's. I could feel her from then, but I also felt the strength in the me here looking at her. And I could feel that pull that she would feel. So I still hurt. I'm hurting right now. I'm always hurting. I think we're always, well, nah. I am always feeling a range of emotions. I can be happy and sad at the same time. That's usually where I'm at. But I recognized the pull that she felt and how she didn't have the tools that she needed, and so she did what she knew. And even now there is this romantic energy around looking back on a summer day. I'm sad. I'm walking to the store. I'm gonna get a bottle. I'm going to open up a session. I'm going to just pour out whatever comes out of me. I'll pour the bottle out and I'll pour myself out through the bottle. I don't know. And I know that there were moments of freedom that it would bring, but it was so short-lived, and the prices that I would pay for it, it wasn't worth it. But she didn't know what else to do. And so the song has many layers. It means a lot to me. Watching and imagining myself as someone who doesn't have a clue about the context behind it, I feel like it comes off a little bit vain. It's just so many shots of like just me looking at myself, just my face. But there was more happening there, and I wonder if anyone can see that in my eyes as I'm having this crazy experience, introducing me to me. And then, yeah, the lyrics are pretty simple and repetitive, but there are layers there, and there's sweet and sour in there. I definitely made this one for me, just for me. If anyone else vibes, that is wonderful, beautiful, but I really made it for me. This is a rarity, but I really feel that it does what I needed it to do. From making the beat and listening to it, and then to have the melody and the words just come out so organically, and then the video, everything, when I listen and I watch it back, it is a representation of the thoughts and feelings that were going on in that moment. Even the colors, it felt very green and yellow. If you know, you know. Anyways, yeah, citrus syrup.